Welcome back, First and Goal podcast fans. It's been long awaited. Look who we have joining us. We have none other than Gars. No Sam this episode. It's actually gonna be 4 straight days of episodes. We're gonna go through our fantasy football power rankings, top 15 at each position. Gars, we're happy to have you back, dude.
Happy to be back, filling in for no Wi-Fi Herlash.
He's just moved. He's got to wait for Wi-Fi into his apartment. But here we go. We're starting today off with quarterbacks. This is Monday, August 8th. We're recording all of these on August 7th. I'm saying let's go 15 through 1, not 1 through 15. So starting off at number 15, quarterback 2022 fantasy football power rankings. Who do you have here?
I have Jameis Winston. I think he's got a group of high ceiling, promising receivers. He's got Michael Thomas, who's a little bit of a risky grab at receiver, but nonetheless, we know his talent and he's been performing at training camp. You also have a talented receiver with Chris Olave coming in as a rookie receiver with a lot of promise. And you also got Jarvis Landry, a big hound reception king in PPR leagues.
So I wasn't going to put my guy at number 15. I actually wasn't going to put him in my rankings at all. However, he's looked very, very good in training camp. He has a new offensive coordinator, a new head coach, a offensive line that is heavily improved with the additions of Lucas Patrick, Michael Schofield, and Riley Reif. He also can get on the move. Bears quarterback Justin Fields. I know a lot of people are going to say this is a Bears move just because I'm a Bears fan. I do think he's going to be well improved. He's shortened up his throwing motion based on what I've seen in videos from camp. It looks like Luke Getsy is going to get this guy some weapons. It sounded like right before we recorded this, N'Keal Harry went down with a high ankle sprain. So he will probably miss some time. We hope to have him back by the end of by week 1. We'll see what the actual diagnosis becomes. Darnell Mooney, solid under Nagy. I can only imagine what he's going to be able to do under a real offense. So I'm going with Justin Fields because he's going to get you some running points too.
If we can get my boy Cole Beasley on the team, that would be a solid too.
Cole Beasley has been rumored. I wouldn't be surprised if they get on the rumors for maybe a couple-year deal on Odell. Might not be a polls move with that one, but I know Cole Beasley and there was another name that they were Will Fuller. So I mean, big names that he might be able to get some good targets to, and it'll also relieve a guy that's going to be on my wide receiver list in Darnell Mooney on Wednesday. Number 14, I'll start it. I got Derek Carr here. I think the Raiders are going to be a good team this season. I think that they're grossly overrated or underrated, I should say, with even them being a playoff team just last year. Out of all quarterbacks in that division, he is actually the lowest ranked in my fantasy football tier, which is crazy because they're all top 14 in my mind. And I have Derek Carr here at 14 with the new weapon of Devontae Adams.
All right. I have Derek Carr actually higher on my list. So I'm going to go 14, Matt Ryan, with that stellar offensive line. He's got promising receivers he's got Michael Pittman. He's got Zach Pascal, who you can debate on whether he's either like hit or miss. Some games he can actually kind of go off. And he's got a defense that can help him out with field positioning. And obviously the workhorse he has in Jonathan Taylor takes a lot of pressure off the pass.
I like that pick. I actually left him out of my top 15 as well. At number 13, this is going to be a controversial pick. It's not the guy that most people who probably tune into this podcast are going to think, but it is Russell Wilson with the Denver Broncos. We just got the news that Tim Patrick has gone down for the season. So he's losing already a big receiver. I'm not a big Russell Wilson believer. I do think that he is good enough to win you games. I just don't think he gets the fantasy numbers that you want. I would stay away from him if it's a 10-team league and you're starting one quarterback per team. He's a good backup, great for the bye weeks. If someone gets injured, he's going to be serviceable, but I am ranking him outside of my top 10, putting him at number 13.
Funny you say that because I also have a lower than expected ranking with number 13, Dak Prescott, because he is pretty injury prone. He has CD, he has Dalton Schultz, he has a pretty decent O-line, great defense, you can argue, but at the same time, I'm not going to risk it with like strictly the injury prone, and I'm not
I would
really going
agree.
to take a chance.
I have him way higher in my list, but I also agree with you because if you're in a 2 QB league, I actually don't want him being my number one quarterback. As a number two, he's probably the best one that you can have out there. But I have him high up on my list, but I also don't want him as my quarterback, if that makes any sense. At number 12, this guy I think is going to have a monster year. And there's a lot of issues around this team right now with the recent punishments by the NFL. But I have Tua Tagovailoa. He gets Tyreek Hill this season. I think that he's going to be a little bit on the run. He might be able to gain you a couple points per game on the run game. I think that having Waddle and Tyreek Hill to throw to, along with Mike Gesicki, I think that's going to be a good thing for him. I think he's going to put up some numbers in fantasy. I don't think the Dolphins will actually be that good, but I do think he's going to be a good fantasy quarterback that's very serviceable for your team.
He also has Waddle that knows the offense, and he has the addition of Terran Armstead too.
Yeah, good offensive line or improved offensive line, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So for number 12, I have Derek Carr. He's got a hell of a receiving core. He has Devontae Adams. He has obviously Darren Waller. He has Hunter Renfrow. That was a surprise last season. Only thing that's kind of deterring him on the list is a troubled offensive line that might be a problem, especially in such a tough division with a lot of good defenses he's going to face twice a year. So that's the one deterring factor I'd say about Carr that people should know.
I like that pick. I think that he's right there. I think you want him on your team, at least a stash as a backup. But Derek Carr, I think that he's going to have another good year. I think the Raiders will make the playoffs. At number 11, Super Bowl quarterback, Matt Stafford. I think that the addition of Allen Robinson is going to be huge. I think he replaces Robert Woods in that offense. He does lose Odell. Odell was injured for a lot of the year, joined the team halfway through the season. I like Matt Stafford this year. The question is going to be, can he stay healthy all season? And is there going to be a Super Bowl hangover? This is something that we've yet to see from Stafford. Obviously, played most of his career with the Lions, put up great numbers. I think Stafford's a Hall of Famer waiting to go in once he retires, and I have him as my number 11 quarterback in 2022.
For number 11, I actually have Aaron Rodgers. So this is a low one. I might get a lot of flack from Packer fans for this one. I mean, he's still a good quarterback when it comes to rushing yards. He lost Devontae Adams, which will be a huge negative, but he's also got low receiver Allen Lazard. I think he'll make some kind of an impact, but he is a steal for a late pick. I really think that the thing about quarterbacks this year is there's a lot of close ones that can be interchangeable with rankings. So I could rate Rodgers at 11, but I could also rate Rodgers from up to like 6 or 7 even.
I think even higher than that. I think there's going to be multiple weeks he's the highest scoring quarterback. Yeah. But I think this team is going to have a lot more running in their game with the Packers because they have that two-headed monster in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. I have him way higher up my list. However, I'm kind of cautious on taking him because of the fact that I could see them being in games late that they want to cement and just kind of pounding the rock, just getting first down after first down and not needing to require Aaron Rodgers to do Aaron Rodgers type things.
Keeping that offensive line healthy is also key as well.
I like that. I like that pick at 11. And actually, shockingly, that's kind of what it's matching up with a lot of the experts. I do have him higher up on my list, but right around 10 to 12 was where I was seeing a lot of Aaron Rodgers. And it's only the fact that he is Aaron Rodgers that is probably the reason that I put him higher on my list. At number 10, though, if we're talking about legends, I have Tom Brady at number 10. He gained Julio Jones. He has a Mike Evans that's kind of injured, which seems to be the Mike Evans career path. Chris Godwin just came back to practice. No Gronk this season, at least not yet. He does get Kyle Rudolph to kind of play in that role. I like Tom to be a starting quarterback on any fantasy team this season, but I wouldn't expect him to be the number one guy.
I actually have them just one notch higher, but I'm going to have Stafford at this ranking. I think it's appropriate with Cooper Cup, the addition of Allen Robinson, and the best defense that'll set them up for a lot of scores and field position battles.
Yeah, I like that pick. At number 9, this is gonna be maybe a little bit controversial, because he does gain so many running back points. I think that he could have easily been higher up the list, but I have Lamar Jackson. I'm just not sure he can throw the ball as well as we would like him to throw the ball. And I'm not saying he's a running back that plays quarterback. I know I've said that in the past. I still somewhat believe that. However, I do think that he gets enough points through the air, especially with Mark Andrews, that he's worth being a starter. There's going to be multiple weeks where he's probably going to have more points running the ball than he will passing, but it doesn't really matter at the end because all the points count the same. You just need points to win the games. So I have Lamar Jackson at number 9.
It's a very good point. I have Tom Brady, especially with the addition of Julio Jones. He is a very talented wide receiver core and a very underrated tight end in Cameron Braid as well. So he's got Evans, who's a powerhouse in the receiver rankings. He's easily top 10. He's got Chris Godwin, who's about fringe top 20, and you got Julio, who's top 30, and you got Cameron Braid, who's a very underrated tight end. Stacked O-line, defense that'll set him up. What more can you ask for?
He's going to be a starter in almost every league, and he should be because he's Tom Brady. At number 8, this is going to be controversial as well, just because a lot of Chargers fans, especially that watch this show, know how crucial I am or critical I am of Justin Herbert. However, I'll put the video that I have watched in the description of this. His numbers are comparable to the Carson Wentz MVP seasons, and the Matt Ryan Super Bowl years of a 2-year window, where there's a lot of third down reliance and third and fourth down. And after those 2 seasons, they both took massive dips. I'm not saying it's going to be as massive. I do think the Chargers are a playoff team. However, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on this guy. I think Austin Eckler is going to have to come and play very well for this team. I'm not the biggest Herbert supporter. I think the numbers that he has put up maybe are inflated a little bit because of the offense he plays in. They go for it a lot on fourth down. I think the defenses are going to be game planning a little bit differently. I think the game is only getting better and better every year. I'm not sure I see that out of Herbert. It's crazy to say I have him at number 8. I know he's considered as an elite quarterback who has never won a playoff game. I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of regresses this season.
I have Russell Wilson at this spot. I know you had him kind of lower on your rankings, but I think with up and coming young, talented receivers, kind of like similar that he had with DK Metcalf in Seattle, but at the same time, he's got a lot of new talent. He's going to be enthusiastic of what he wants to do. And it's just a new look for him. And I think any quarterback would be very excited, enthusiastic about it, not to just go off of solely emotions, but at the same time, he also has a back in Javonte Williams, who's people are saying he could be a talented pass catcher in their offense, as well as Alberto as their tight end, who's an underdog in my opinion. And he has a pretty decent O-line, but an incredible defense that he can kind of get that field position battle on.
A lot of these teams will also be winning games late, and they're just going to run the ball. So you're going to lose a lot of fourth quarter points with some of these teams, which I think is going to be the case with my number 7 quarterback and Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is the next coming of Tom Brady. I've said it before. I think that Super Bowl loss is going to only ignite a bigger flame for this guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's back in the Super Bowl this season. However, I think that he's going to stay right where he was last season, being a top 10 quarterback. And with Jamar Chase only becoming 1 year older, T. Higgins 1 year older, they're just going to be more and more experienced, more and more in sync. And I think that there's going to be many weeks where he is the top quarterback. But I also think there's going to be a lot of weeks where they're winning games pretty handedly, and they're just going to rely on Joe Mixon and whoever can run the ball just to kind of milk out the victory.
I also have Lamar Jackson. It's going to help the passing game, having a more highly developed Rashad Bateman as a possible reliable number one wide receiver like that he can finally have. And it gives him more ability to run the ball. And there's a lot of uncertainties with who's going to be the starting running back between J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. So that gives him more leeway to be an overwhelmingly top factor in this Ravens offense.
At number 6, I have Jalen Hurts from Philadelphia. I'm pretty critical of Jalen Hurts as well. I think that he needs to show that he can ball out this season. I think he will under Nick Sirianni's offense. I think that this team is going to be primed to win the NFC East over the Cowboys.
Agreed.
I think they're going to be in a lot of close games this season, but I think that Jalen Hurts is going to get a lot of run points as well as a lot of pass points. And with weapons like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, both kind of feeding off each other with Dallas Goedert as tight end, I think that this team is going to be set for a nice season, around 12-5, but a lot of close games where he's going to have to be throwing the ball around. So I like Jalen Hurts here at number 6.
Yeah, like you said, I have Jalen Hurts at 6 as well. He has the talented receiver core. Can't go wrong with that. And he's also a shifty, out of the pocket runner, and while also staying in the pocket as well. And he can throw pretty solid deep ball.
At number 5, I have a guy that just got paid pretty well, Kyler Murray, another guy who can run the ball. There's a common theme with guys in the top 10. I think that he's going to have to show that he can do this without D-Hop and possibly without Hollywood Brown, depending on what ends up going on with that speeding charge. It sounded like it was a criminal speeding. It wasn't just like some random, like, hey, I got caught in a school zone. Actually, it was a school zone. That was part of the issue, but he was going like over 85 miles an hour. It's not like you were just driving down the street going 50 and a 40. He was going much faster than that. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think that he's going to have to ball out, and I think he's going to have to come from behind a lot. I don't think this team is going to be a playoff team. I could see them around 8 and 9, but they're going to be throwing the ball quite a bit. He's going to be hurried. He's going to be running the ball. I think that he's just going to be a really good fantasy quarterback this year.
Yeah, my rankings were made before finding that out, actually. I found that out from very reliable sources. So I actually have Patrick Mahomes at number 5. And I think here's the reason why. I think I'm in a league where if you throw an interception, it's -4 points. And I think a big factor, especially if you're in a league like that, you see him throwing a lot more picks. He's going to be blindly looking for his boy Tyreek Hill, but he's in Miami. So, but you're going to have Kelsey possibly being double covered, and Juju is definitely going to have to make some big plays, as well as Mecole Hardman and as well as Valdez-Scantling. But they do have additions to their O-line, playing devil's advocate with my ranking, so that could give him more leeway and more time to throw under less duress. And yeah, that's why I rank him at 5.
At number 4, I have Dak Prescott. And I know that he only really has CeeDee Lamb because we just found out that who was their number 2 that just went down? It'll come to me.
DiNucci?
What was it?
DiNucci?
I have no idea. I can't remember who their number 2 receiver is, but he just got injured.
Oh
no, James Washington. James Washington just got hurt.
Okay.
I think that this team is going to sign someone, whether it's Odell or whether it's Will Fuller or Cole Beasley. I think that they're going to be right there. I think the Cowboys are still going to be right in that wild card race as well as in the AFC East. I think Dak is going to have to play well. It's probably make or break season if they have to blow this team up or not, to be honest with you, because with the money Zeke makes, with the money he makes, we'll see if CeeDee Lamb wants to stick around pretty soon. I think that they have to succeed, and I think Dak knows that. And as the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, you have a lot of pressure on your hands. He's going to be throwing the ball a lot. He's got Dalton Schultz still, but I think that he's going to be throwing the ball a lot, and I think he's going to score a lot of touchdowns. I do think he'll throw quite a few interceptions, but that's just kind of what you get. He's a gunslinger in my mind.
I think you were thinking of Michael Gallup, who actually got hurt for the Cowboys.
No, James Washington got hurt this week in camp. But yeah, is Gallup back this season?
Gallup, I think he'll probably be back like later this season, but there's a lot of question marks behind his play. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. At number 4, now I have Kyler Murray actually at number 4 because he's also a running quarterback. And once Brown and Hopkins kind of come together, he's going to have a mean dual threat deep bomb that he can throw to either or. And I think Ertz is going to have to step up in this offense. And I think he'll develop into a top 10, back to a top 10 elite tight end. So I'm thinking Kyler Murray at number 4 for this spot is very appropriate.
At number 3, I have a guy I can't stand, the big bad Aaron Rodgers. It seems like every season that he goes into with a storyline, he just outperforms himself the previous season. He's back-to-back MVP. It's impossible to think that he's lost a step. But this year that he loses his number 1 weapon in Devontae Adams, as well as there's a lot of people calling for him to get suspended with the DMT issue, where he was reportedly just taking a bunch of DMT and wins back-to-back MVPs. There's a lot of people calling for suspension. Last season, it was that he might retire. He might want out of Green Bay. He seems to always need a storyline going into the season. I hate to say it, the NFC North is not very strong. He's going to be playing a lot of teams that might not be as good as they were or good as they should be playing against Aaron Rodgers. I think that he's going to throw a lot of touchdowns. Allen Lazard's going to have a better year, obviously, than he did last year. He's going to have to be the number 1 guy there. He gets Christian Watson. He has Sammy Watkins. I believe Tunyon is back, as well as Aaron Jones out of the backfield to kind of catch some short passes. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have just another phenomenal season, sadly.
I think for number 3, Joe Burrow. And here's why. He's got the most talented receiver group with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and he's got...
I can't remember who their tight end is now.
Yeah, I'm kind of spacing that out as well.
Uzomah went to the Jets. Yeah, I'll look it up while you keep talking.
Yeah, he can throw. He has a pretty wide range of how he throws the ball. He can throw a good short ball, medium ball, long ball. And I think that throws off a lot of defenses that he can further expand the playbook to become just fantasy powerhouse, honestly. So look for Burrow as a top 3 quarterback this year.
He has Hayden Hurst.
Hayden Hurst. Yeah, he's actually pretty solid.
Yeah. So, I mean, pretty good weapons over there.
Yeah.
At number 2, I have Patty Mahomes. I think that he's going to have a good season, especially to win that division. And I don't know, it's kind of a weird season for him. I don't know what to make of him. I think that he's going to win the division. I know the AFC West is stacked, and there's a lot of people that are believing the Chargers will win, possibly the the Broncos. But it's hard to take it from a guy that's been in the AFC Championship how many years in a row now, as well as winning a Super Bowl, losing a Super Bowl. He's right there. I have a lot of confidence that Patty Mahomes is being just fine.
So I have Justin Herbert at number 2. So I see you, Jacob. So I see just an incredible offense with weapons such as obviously Keenan Allen, who's a fringe top 10 guy. He's got Mike Williams, who's coming off an impressive season. I think he's only developing as a receiver, and he's not letting the height advantage or the height disadvantage, I should say, kind of get to him. And he's a very speedy guy, and he can receive that deep ball pretty well. And he's also got obviously Austin Eckler, my boy, and he's got a stellar defense coming in. He's got the addition with Khalil Mack and Nick Bosa as
Joey
Bosa, thank you, as an incredible linebacker core. And they got other additions as well that would will really help them be a huge powerhouse in the league, let alone fantasy.
Well, at number one, we both have the same guy, Josh Allen from Buffalo.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
he's my MVP pick this season. Like, he's coming off of the greatest game, maybe, in playoff history, we could say, where he lost the game on a coin toss. I think that he's going to come out firing. He runs in touchdowns for himself. He is a touchdown machine. This team has my number one wide receiver, and that's a spoiler, but Stephon Diggs. Like, this guy is going to have a phenomenal season. He's probably going to be my MVP. He is my MVP. I hope he wins MVP. The city of Buffalo hopes he's MVP. He's got everything going for him. Josh Allen is going to be the number one quarterback this year in fantasy football.
You took the words right out of my mouth, and that's why I have him as number one. And I just got to report that Buffalo Bobby just sprained his ankle celebrating that pick.
So there it is, 2022 quarterback rankings. Tune in tomorrow on Tuesday, August 9th. We'll be going over our running back episode, or our running back rankings. Now, if you're watching this and you're wondering why we didn't change clothes, we are absolutely just recording these one after another, and we are not going to bother to change our clothes. So don't think that we just live every day wearing the exact same clothing. That's just how it's going to go, because we wanted to knock these out. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, do what you got to do. We will see you guys tomorrow with our running back rankings. Peace.
Ciao.